D-Thera is Fmpone's first map for CS2. Fmpone has a long list of map inclusions back in CSGO, and it's truly exciting to see new maps coming from experienced mapmakers like him. From this, I want to bring up an interesting point about level design, and especially for Counter-Strike, as making a great map requires countless of hours of playtesting and analyzing of player feedback.
Gotta break the glass and then throw it. A little bit annoying.
D-Thera is the perfect example of mapmakers' ability to iterate on a project and through feedback and drive of core vision, end up at something very unique and fun. I want to make one point clear here. My original video about Thera and its flaws is now obsolete, and I for one am very happy to state that. Fmpone has fixed quite literally all of the issues I had with the map, and all the things not fixed turn out to be non-issues anyway. Take for example the T-spawn. This was one of my biggest points, and I really looked forward to it being tight and awful, but when you're actually playing the map, your attention is elsewhere, coming up with strats and focusing on timings.
My question is to you, can you justify having all of these things straight off the bat from the spawn?
What's left to the criticism is the lack of insta-smokes that are only present in few maps as the meta is right now. Although a cool mechanic, not at all necessary for a legendary map. Just look at the Inferno with its T-spawn. Let's move on to the topic of double doors. There are 4 doors in the level as of right now. I've been very vocal about their inclusion and how they can create awkward gameplay around them if not implemented well enough. Fmpone has tweaked the doors with every update to get away from their clunky design and removing some of the awkward deep corners behind them. At this point, all of the doors give something different and really add to the gameplay. I think D-Thera being so small really gets a lot of utility from their chokiness, as they limit player rushing big time. On the point of the map size, the extra run-up time in spawns also adds to the pacing of the map as a whole, as you have few extra seconds before you are thrown into the jaws of battle. I mentioned the Inferno earlier, and I want to make a point about familiarity in recognizing map dynamics. If you are new to D-Thera, thinking of the base layout as Inferno might help you in making better decisions in taking map control and positioning as counter-terrorists. There are a few similarities that I based my feedback upon. For example, one massive similarity that the maps have is this mid-cross the B side of the map. I'm not trying to take anything away from the map in saying that they share similarities, however. More trying to make you more acquainted with the map in appealing to familiarity. Realizing a dynamic like this in your map helps greatly in developing around it, as we already understand aspects of the dynamic and what it needs around it to work and to be fun. You might remember D Santorini, which D-Thera is based on. D Santorini's layout was way more standard for the time it was made. I like that Fmpone repurposed D Santorini to test out some new and riskier ideas. This is the knock-on effect of players acquainted with D Santorini are left asking where's the original map. Me for one, I'm always excited to play new map mechanics, and the less we have similar maps in the game, the better for Counter-Strike as a whole. Mapmaking has always been about making cool map locations play to the strengths of the game's mechanics. The more we can do testing and make new ideas work, the more it will prevent the game from going stale. The key point here is making the ideas actually work in practice. You can always try out new ideas, but if you don't iterate on them enough through feedback and playtesting, then those ideas will truly only be ideas, nothing more. A point about CS maps being competitive or not. Truly speculating about small nuances in maps, I more see it as, does the map's design limit player ability to play on it and take the experience seriously? Is there something in the map that prevents players to develop their skill against other players? Things like this could be too unfair design, limited player ability to create tactics, technically broken map, poor visibility, etc. Look at Dust 2 compared to Dust 1. Dust 1's limited map design and its layout doesn't allow for much player iteration upon fighting angles. You can clearly see pathing dramatically affect player movement and possible tactical choices that can be made. At some point of early Counter-Strike 1.6 competition, D-Dust 2 was exciting and complex enough that it slowly set the standard for minimal pathing requirements for complexity on competitive 5v5 diffuse maps. This standard might be even higher today, as maps seemingly get more and more complex. To me, it's no wonder that Dust 2 feels kind of stale. Look at Mirage for example. You can already think of its middle having at least twice the complexity of Dust 2's. I think that this ties to the ramped up skill level of Counter-Strike players as a whole. And that's pretty much the video. As of now, D-Thera is still being developed and playtested at Map Inc. and Map Core. Fmpone is open to feedback, and I truly respect that he understands the viewpoint of the players as well. Being so lucky as to get to be part of the development of such an amazing map like D-Thera at early days of CS2 is such an awesome opportunity. To add on to that, map development right now is very exciting as we get to explore what sorts of dynamics work best to the strengths of Counter-Strike 2, and not CSGO. CSGO is truly dead.